This is the Pereskia aculeata, commonly known as the Barbados gooseberry. It originates from South America and is a member of the cactus family. But unlike its benevolent cousins, the Pereskia plant is quite a vicious specimen, even from a young age. Juveniles have short, hooked spines on the stems and leaves, while adult stems have clusters of hard, straight spines. It is a dangerous asset against fleshy individuals on the move, which is why it was introduced into South Africa. Just before the apartheid government's reign, the Bluff army base needed a passive but extensive defense against rebels. They were under constant threat, and increasing the number of men on guard duty wasn't viable, and so they imported this thorny, shrubby vine, this natural barbed wire, to deter intruders from climbing the dune and infiltrating the base. After it was introduced, the seeds were spread by birds throughout the Bluff area. The men in charge of the base thought that the Pereskia would be a boon to their personnel, since less men would be needed to be on guard duty. But the people that are now in charge of the area are paying the price. Before recently, the greenery of the Bluff area was an illusion. While the canopy appeared to be green, the undergrowth was dead or dying. This was due to the growth pattern of the Pereskia plant. It grows from the soil, onto trees, and finally to the canopy. Once it reaches the canopy, it forms a dense cover which blocks sunlight from reaching the undergrowth. Without energy, these plants die, and there was little left to anchor the soil. The loose soil became vulnerable to rainfall, and washaways occurred. This is what alerted concerned parties to the problem. The unstable dune banks would collapse frequently onto the railway tracks. Cleanups and losses to efficiency were expensive, and derailments were a very real fear. And so Bulk Connections, a shipping company in the Island View Industrial Complex, took it upon themselves to eliminate the Pereskia. The company they hired to remove the invasive alien species introduced Pereskia's natural enemy to the area, Fenrica guerini, also known as the Pereskia flea beetle. Unlike other botched attempts at introducing environmental control agents, this endeavor was safe, since the beetle only eats the leaves of the Pereskia plant. However, this was 2 years and 500 beetles ago. What was the fate of the Pereskia beetle? They are thought to have died off due to a local conflicting factor. Perhaps the local insectivores found that they were tasty treats. When the beetles failed, another method was implemented. Pereskia growths were poisoned and cut at the head and ankle heights. All cut material was burned. The remaining stems and roots were then mercilessly dug up, poisoned, and burned. All this poisoning and burning is necessary, since the resilient Pereskia can regrow from a node which obtains moisture. Not only is this method expedient, but it is also proficient. The control actions have so far been effective in reducing canopy cover, which allows for the re-establishment of the undergrowth. Subsequent soil washaways are now less frequent and of a smaller magnitude. Small indigenous animals have started to move back into the area. It would seem as if the Pereskia has been beaten back into oblivion, but periodic management is needed to ensure it stays that way. Remember, one healthy stem is all it takes for it to return. The Pereskia may be merely biding its time.